2.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so we're on part 3 of Unmasking Mary's Cult. And we're waiting for Uncle Ernie to sign in. I just didn't want to keep you guys waiting. Me and Diva can chit chat before he comes on. Now, Diva, everything I know about this case, you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been working on this for a while. You've heard victim stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm bringing Uncle Ernie on to vouch what we're saying. Now we know that the victims don't want to come forward because they're fearful for their lives. Today we're going to this is the craziest story of them all, isn't it? We're going to talk about what victims are telling us happened to Mama. We're going to talk about Rosalind and Mark Casares. But before we get into that, let's share some happy news. So we're waiting for Uncle Ernie to sign in. Uncle Ernie said that yesterday he was driving past the church and he saw some people at the church. Now, remember, no one's been going to this church for a while now. He wanted to know who was on the property, what's going on, because, he's following the story closely. So he goes up to the church, and before he can say anything, some woman runs towards him and screams, "Uncle Ernie, Uncle Ernie," and gives him a big hug. Let me show you guys the picture. It's Jen Shah and it's Heather. And he says he didn't recognize her right away. He said that Jen Shah was amazing and warm. And the next thing you know, they had a camera in his face and having him sign a waiver. And they started asking him questions on film. I don't want to give too much away, but he was just stunned. He said Jen Shah was delightful. I think that people misunderstand Jen. She's always screaming and yelling, but I've talked to people that know her. I like her strength. I like the fact that she speaks up and the other women don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm thinking, why were they at the church? They were definitely filming. But Mary's supposed to be gone. What does Bravo have up their sleeve? Okay, yeah, Uncle Ernie's going to be on TV, Bonji. That's crazy. He didn't recognize who they were. He said they were amazing. They were hugging him. They were like Uncle Ernie. They had conversations that are going to be captured on camera. It's great.
And Sherelle, wasn't you the first one to bring Uncle Ernie on any platform for an interview? Yeah. So look there. How did they know about Uncle Ernie? Because of you.
Oh, okay. He said they called him Uncle Ernie.
They called him Uncle Ernie. How would they say that and how would they know that? Exactly.
Let's get started with the story because this is a doozy and I really have to only have an hour to really talk about this. So me and Diva have been talking to multiple people. Oh my God. Mm-hmm. But she's been involved in the last couple weeks. I'll tell her everything that's going on. These people talk in front of Uncle Ernie. Thank you guys for the banner.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that. And so we now know why these people, not only are they in a cult and they're brainwashed, but they're really fearful for their lives. So let's talk about what the people talked about yesterday. So Rosalind, her mother, what's her name? Mary's mother. My brain is fried, by the way, because this has been an ongoing thing. And it's just what we found out yesterday was mind-boggling. So she did an interview where she embraced Mary. She said everything was the bishop's fault and whatnot. So somebody had asked me yesterday about Mama's death. Now they have it listed as a natural causes, but that's not how it went down at all. I don't even know where to start. Let's start at the beginning. In the beginning, Mama passed away according to Dan and Uncle Ernie, Mama was in Florida and was in perfect health. She was getting ready to come back to Utah and kick Mary out the church. She was not okay with Mary sleeping with her husband. Okay. And by the way, I Mary's a narcissist, and so is Rosalind. Okay, these
Yeah.
are people that only worry about themselves.
Two peas in a pod.
Two peas in a pod. First of all, I wouldn't even want to hurt my grandmother. If my grandfather came towards me, and don't forget, she was married when this affair began. You know, she ended up marrying him, but right there, you're not a victim. You're 22 years old. She lies and says that she's 19. She tries to make it seem like she was just a girl that's a victim of. No, you are old enough. You had the wherewithal to divorce your husband and marry your grandfather. But anyway, so these people are saying that Rosalind, in the beginning, when Mama passed away, all the brothers and sisters came together and said, this doesn't make sense. Robert Cosby's story allegedly kept changing. First, he said he used a hairpin to get in the house, but he was the last one to see Mama. Okay, so what alarmed them is his stories kept changing as to what happened to Mama. I'm being told he came down to Florida. He sent people on some errands. When they came back, Mama was laying on the floor with a bruise on the back of her neck and her back. Someone said, oh my God, let's call 911. They were told he would handle it. He never called the hospital or 911. He called the coroner. Okay, that's odd. Don't you want to know what's going on? So he has changing stories, and he called the coroner. This got the siblings, Ernie and his siblings, and Rosalind's one of them, concerned. So Rosalind first came out and said, this is suspicious. They have newspaper articles on it. You could go look it up in the Utah Tribune. Salt Lake City Tribune, pardon me. So Rosalind hires her own private investigator. Okay, someone said there are two, what do you call that when you die? Autopsy reports. You got one by Robert Nim that said she died of natural causes. You got one from Rosalind. Rosalind's autopsy said that she died from an overdose of diazepam, which is the generic for Valium. They have the body exhumed. Is that what it's called? They dug up the dead body. They tested her. There was so much diazepam in her system, in her tissues. 3 years later, they said that no one could live through that. She was very upset about it. And not only was she not take on Valium at all, she was allergic to it. Okay, so Rosalind is upset. Rosalind, Ernie, the gang decides to sue. Okay, so also they said that there was no will. But Mama sat the children down together as a group and said in the 80s, before here's my will, you guys will never have to work again. Now all of a sudden there's no will, and this is not anything I'm making up. We're getting this from eyewitnesses. Also, you could read about this fight and the will in the newspapers, and that's why I'm waiting. I thought Ernie will be here by now. So they think that Mary approached Rosalind, got her to paid her off, got her to withdraw the lawsuits. She only paid off her mother. None of the other siblings that is rightfully theirs. This is your mom. It's supposed to go to the next generation. It's not supposed to skip a generation and go to Mary. And her husband that she knew was having an affair with her granddaughter. This could be a reason why Mary didn't want to come on, because now we're going to be talking about, what about Mama's death? Robert was allegedly the last person to see her. Why didn't he call the police? Why didn't she go to the hospital? Why didn't you call 911? You call, and the eyewitnesses said that their coroner was red faced and so drunk.
Mm.
You heard these people telling me the story, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not making this up. Okay. They're scared for their life. I had one person. So Rosie decides, I'm going to withdraw and I'm going to run my own church. Her church is allegedly another cult, except hers was not successful as Mary's church. According to eyewitnesses, she worked them like a dog to make money and things like this, but she turned over her money to Mark Cazares, who everyone has told her that had a baby by her cousin. But if you tell Rosalind that he has a child with your cousin, she'll believe him and say that they're jealous of the relationship. He's a known womanizer. He had affairs on her. I'm thinking, now this is my part, he didn't love Rosalind just as Mary didn't love her aunt, her grandmother. It's your grandma. You can't pay me to be with my grandmother, break my grandmother's heart like that. You can't do it. Then it gets really crazy. So Rosie develops a pill addiction. And something seemed wrong with her, didn't it, during that interview?
The dark sunglasses.
She wouldn't talk. She let it basically was the Mark show. I know she develops so she goes to the church less and less. She's getting more crazy. She also, if you don't do what she says, will put her hands on you, throwing things at people, hitting them, pushing them up against the walls, hitting them with switches. Or if you did something that she didn't like, she would have Mark put his hands on you. These the same people that seem so innocent. Ernie's got to call in because I'm telling you, this is getting crazy. So, Rosalind, according to eyewitnesses, Mary gives her mom's money to stop the investigation, but doesn't give her the other half, the rest of the money. She gets mad at her, does not talk to her for 23 years. According to eyewitnesses, they think they paid cops to turn the other's cheek. And this is coming from a white person, that Utah is a really religious-based state, and they're just not too fond of blacks. This is coming from a white person. There is no court case that should be in court over 20 years. What's in probate over 20 years? So they're paying off allegedly coroners. And don't forget, they had the money at this time. They're paying off officials. They kept probate tied up for over 20 years. None of the siblings has seen a dime of that money legally unless Mary paid you off, Rosie. It's insane. But also, we spoke to people who said they tried to leave the church. Rosie sent people after them. Somebody would shoot at their windows. What do you call that? Pop the tires. Just harass them every time you try to leave. Oh, thank you very much, Christy. We need Ernie. Ernie's having a hard time signing in. So you're not going to leave because they'll harass you for one, and two, you don't want to get killed. They're fearful for their lives. There was another brother, two adopted brothers named Sam, who was speaking out, who went on Tasha K's show, and Dimitri. Maybe Dominic. Sorry, we need Ernie to get here. But he had a problem with Robert, and now he died under suspicious circumstances. These people are scared shitless. Now I got my answer. They will tell me their stories. They will cry in front of me, but would not, they don't want me to release their names. And they would say, I'm scared. Robert Cosby is a bully. Mary Cosby, Rosalind, and David Cazares are nut jobs. How do you hurt your mother? This is your mother that you suspect husband took her life, and you take the money in silence. How do you F your grandmother, your grandfather, while your grandmother's alive?
Alive.
That's hurtful. Then you know about her alleged death. You replace her when she's gone, steal her money, and turn her hard work into a cult. Diva, did you hear these people talking?
I heard them talking, and honestly, it's hard to listen to because it's like you feel like it's a movie script. Like this can't really be real life. Like this happened to these people. It's so sad. But in addition to that, you have Mary. You already know, like you said, who does that to their grandmother and who marries their grandmother's husband? Who does that?
And
So
have a
that
baby with them.
right. Yes, yes. And so that alone tells you where your integrity level is, amongst other things. Because this is not even somebody else's grandmother's husband, it's your grandmother's husband. And it's like, how could you do this?
If you see if you're a cult member, you have I hate to say this, you are scared to be, you are brainwashed to begin with. Let's just say it that way. You've seen the cops, Utah cops, turn a blind eye. You see them put their hands on people. You see them shoot at people. Are you going to come forward and you're already scared?
No, you're not, because you're petrified. So they, first of all, they've been brainwashed for years. This is not like an overnight thing. This is not a 2-year thing. They've been brainwashed for years. And it's like on top of them being brainwashed, they know there's some sprinkling circling around that is suspicion about what happened to certain people that did go against the grain. So of course they're like, no, I can't do this.
I agree. I wouldn't do it.
Me?
Robert Cosby's a nut job. Mary's a narcissist. It's no telling what they would do. So I get it. But if you don't have to be scared anymore. If you guys make this public, they can't do anything to you. And you only have a window of opportunity. The spotlight is on you now. Mary has quit the show, and now she's trying to do a cover-up.
Now
Uncle Ernie, I pinned the link to the top. Go ahead.
Yeah, now is their window. Now is their time to speak up. Now is their time to band together and stand together and come forth so they can bring light to this situation. At least it start the investigations going.
It sounds unreasonable. I could tell your story, guys, and me and Diva are telling your story. But unless the public here, it comes from you, it leaves room for people to have doubt. You know how people are. Oh, we don't believe this. Oh, I need more proof of this. Listen, if you were sitting in our shoes and you seen these people cry, you know how fearful these people are. You would understand. It's not easy getting out of a cult.
No, it's not. And it would have more impact. And they'd not only be saving themselves, they'd be saving the future generations and everybody that's in their family. And it may even bring families back together. Because remember the guy that came up on part 2, and he said, my own mother don't speak to me.
I've talked to some people where they broke up families. They told them don't talk to their children. Let's talk about the lies that Rosalind told on that interview. So the church divides. She gets 250 people. She never had 400 people. That's just a bold lie. but they dropped like flies, especially as her pill addiction got worse. You know how
Hmm.
many people she has in the church now?
What, two,
Three.
one?
Three. Three people in that church. She's crying about her mom as if this happened yesterday. When you know what happened to your mom.
Mm.
And you have that other evidence that you could take to the court, that coroner's report saying that she died of a diazepam, which is the generic for Valium overdose. You have that, Rosalind. This is your mother. It's your mom. Yo, there's Ernie. Hold on. He's coming. He's
Okay.
coming. Here we go.
Oh, nice.
Uncle Ernie, we got you.
Yeah, after a while.
I'm telling the story and I want you to verify because when you first came to me, you had suspicions about, you said your mother died of suspicious circumstances, and you told me the story about how they exhumed the body. That's fact. We're not making that up.
No, you're not.
That is fact. They exhumed the body, and then Rosalind sent private investigators down there. And when they did a test on the body, she died of what? I'll let you say.
Well, they said she died of uh, volumes. Well, 3 years later, when they assumed the body, they took and did the autopsy. Also, two people. They went and got two examiners. They got one from Las Vegas, and they got one here. And so
Mm.
the one here said that Mama had enough volume in her muscle tissue at the time of her death, enough to kill 10 horses.
Well, listen, you suspected it was Bishop. A lot of people suspected it was Bishop. I suspect it's Bishop. He was the last one with her. But let's talk about Mary doing this to her family.
Yeah, she's a. I
Mm.
don't understand it. I really
Let's
don't.
talk about the interview that Rosalind, you guys call her Rosie, gave to another channel. On that
Yes.
channel, she says she has 400 church members. Is that true?
Oh, well, I gave her the benefit of doubt because it was 252 people that she took with her, and but she said 400. But thing about it, the 252 that she took with her, it's only three of them left. So therefore, she was doing something wrong, and definitely wasn't no God with her.
Yeah.
Uh, it was just, it was terrible. It was the worst mess that ever happened to Utah. You know, but Utah put us in this situation because there's a lot of prejudice in this probate, and so that's
Mhm.
why I bet we the only blacks ever 27 years trying to get this over with, but the courts have a lot to do with this. It's a lot of prejudice going on.
Well, the people that we've talked to, me and Diva, and you told us about, and you helped us talk to a lot of these people and stuff, and then some called on their
Mhm.
own.
Yes, ma'am.
The fear that they have is understandable at this point. They're fearful for their lives.
Yes, ma'am. They are.
There was a stepbrother of yours. It started with a D. Is it Dominic?
Demetrius.
Demetrius died under suspicious circumstances. That's scary for a
Well,
church.
he didn't. Well, he didn't die. Uh, no, he got shot by the police.
Oh,
Demetrius, well, after Mama left, he kind of lost it and everything like that. They took his money from him, and so he didn't
who
have
took
no
his
money. So
money?
he tried to rob the bank, and the police killed him.
Who took his money?
Well, Robert Cosby wouldn't give it to him because he figured that he was like he was, figured he was gay and stuff like that.
You have your own story. You swear that they tried to kill you. It sounds,
Oh, sure.
tell the story.
Well, about 2 years ago, I went out to dinner with some people I know, and I don't want to give any no names, but
Yeah, no names, no names.
they asked me did I want some meat, because it was a smorgasbord. We was at the Marriott for Thanksgiving, and so they asked me. I said I should have got some more meat because I asked uh, to go uh, container, and so this person said, "Oh, you want some more meat? Let me get it for you." So they went around and got it, and when I seen them walk past me with it in their hand, something hit my heart real hard. It must have been God warning me about that. So I said, let me take it on home. And I said, well, it's still warm and everything like this. So this person walked out, oh, enjoy that meat, they said. And so what they did, I took it home and I stuck it in the ice box. And something told me if anything's in there, it'll bring it to the top. And so I said I wanted it, so it was so good. So I put it in the ice box and lifted up. And then it stuck some rat poison in between it. And what happened, if I had been hot, the rat parts start swelling up. That blue little thing starts swelling up. It's getting ready to explode with the heat, I guess. And so by me putting it in the ice box, it stopped the growth of it. And they tried to kill me on that one. And that's not the only time.
Because since Rosie turned her back on you and your siblings, and we allegedly got paid off by Mary, now you're public enemy number one because you're still fighting for your money, right?
No, I'm not fighting for no money. I'm fighting for my mom. The
Um,
lies and stuff on my mom, destroying my mother's legacy. No, forget about that money. I told them a long time ago. They offered me money, and they offered me a little $100,000 and stuff like that, and
oh,
they told me I couldn't get no credit if I need a car. I got to go down and buy a Ford 500. They would dictate it; it'd be issued out to me. I couldn't receive it. And then the Jack Lake lawyer come telling me, he said, but you won't receive, the interest out there. Somebody else will get that. Like I'm stupid. You know what I'm saying? I said it's not about no $100,000, which is a drop in the bucket. And I said it's all about mama. And see, Rosie running around here with the float and carrying on here, talking about keeping mama's legacy. It was all about her legacy, keeping her legacy alive, and the stuff that she did to the people. It's just ridiculous. I was listening to that broadcast that they had, and one thing they said about that, I need to get this straight right now. Lois Johnson was the best thing ever happened to Faith Temple. Although she know they're wrong, but that's not for us to judge. That's between her and her God. But one thing I can say about Lois Johnson, she made my mama happy, and that made me happy. So I got a lot of respect for her. And if one for her, my mother probably would not be here as long as she was.
I want you to clarify this, Ernie, because it's one thing coming from me, but it takes on a whole nother meaning coming from you. Mama knew about the affair, didn't she?
Oh yes, she did. Oh yes, that's why. Yeah, that's why he didn't. Mama didn't have him. She didn't leave him anything.
Oh,
And so that's
that's
how the stealing became. Mama was a very smart person. She know when I lied, but she treats everybody the same. Just because I was her son, if I messed up, hey, I had to suffer the consequences. And she'll silence me or something like that. But I kind of stayed silent quite a bit because I did cut up quite a bit, but when I was in church, I was 100% in the church. But when I messed up, I got out. See, but
Do you
Mama was just
do you find it the timeline suspicious that did not talk to her mother for 20 something years? Then all of a sudden she reaches out to her, and then the next thing you know, Rosalind's on another channel talking about what a great daughter she is.
Rosie always had been like that, she put her kids when she had that little jungle going in church. She always kept her kids up front. They couldn't do no wrong. And like Mark,
Yeah,
that's
let's talk about Mark's character. What kind of person is he? No, we got to talk about it, Ernie, because
yes,
they
ma'am.
got up there and put on a show and tried to blame everything on Robert and said that Mary was innocent. Let's talk about him. When he put himself out there, he became further. We were allowed to talk about him because now we're judging him.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things do you know of this man?
Oh, I, the man's the worst man you ever want to deal with. I mean, anytime you got a pastor on there, which he had all them babies, but anytime you have a pastor on the network or anything like that, talking about fighting, putting gloves on, and see, Mark's the type of person he used that N word on you in a minute, and
Even though
yeah,
he's married
Mark
to a black woman, he would use the N word.
the N word. He
In
come
what kind
telling
of
me
way?
one in a negative way.
Like
He
you in like, or is he singing it in a song?
in no song. It just it's something like he said if one of them ends come towards me, I'm gonna shoot him in their head. And I said, hey man, why don't you lay some chills on that end stuff? I said the word, why don't you lay some chills on that? After quiet because he was talking out loud and these people was coming out. He's the type of person who want to be seen and heard.
Is it true that he had a baby with Rosie's cousin and that he preyed on the women in the church too?
Oh yes, yes, it's true. He preyed upon my daughter. My they was in the restaurant, and she was washing off the table. And he looked down there and he said, yeah, you keep on bending over, one of them pretty things is gonna pop out. Yeah, but see, Rosie got rid of all of them young sisters. Because one day I was in their truck, drove up, and a bunch of these sisters was standing out, just standing out there. You know how people get in a group and they want to talk. And she got so mad because she looked out there, y'all look like a bunch of harlots. Go out there and get some donations. She's trying to keep them from her husband because Mark was after him like white on rice.
Now, I'm being told if you tried to tell Rosie about the baby with the cousin, she would go into denial and she might even hit you. Have you heard
Well,
that?
yeah, she's good at want to swing. She ain't big as nothing, but she always want to hit somebody or get somebody else to beat them up. And what happened when they would had a problem with the baby? They were singing at this. They were singing at the mall, and they was getting down, shouting, carrying on, And then when they got through with the mall, they went outside in the parking lot. This is how they got blackballed. They went out in the and they was fighting. The choir members was fighting amongst themselves, and so Rosie said this out of her own mouth. She wanted my husband so bad, she marked that baby. I looked at marked the baby. The baby looked like it. Only way he can be marked, he had to be right there. You know what I mean? And but she'll believe Rosin's the type of person she rather believe a lie than the truth. Don't bring her nothing that's true or something that you are bragging on someone. She don't want to hear that. But if you bring it to her and talk negative, she like, oh, she'll pat you on your back and get happy. Rosie is totally the devil. She's worse than Mary anytime.
Yeah, people are saying that she's worse than Mary. Would you agree?
10 times. Oh, 100 times of agreement.
Mm.
That woman is so treacherous. It's just, I mean, she's sitting around there just be evil. And so she got her son, Adrian Jefferson, known as Flex, the biggest crook in Utah. He's the one she gave a power of attorney to him. And so he took it up on his own. He goes down there and closed the deal and did a settlement. And so the judge asked him what happened to the other heir. That's me, Well, they told him that I didn't have a lawyer. And you really didn't need a lawyer because this is Rosie's case. She started up in 2010. The case was already done. It was ready. All they had to do, it was on the edge. All they had to do was push it over. That was the first from the Supreme Court. We won that $1.2 million in damages, stuff like that. It didn't say nothing about Rosie. It said the state of Dr. Rosemary.
I
Uncle
still go
uh,
ahead, Diva.
Uncle Ernie, you said you're in this, like, you care about Mama and her reputation. What would you like to see happen so you can clear up Mama's name? What do you want them to do? What do you want to see happen in terms of that?
I want us all to go back into Mama's church, and I want Robert Cosby to be dealt with because he got to. Because I just found out when he was putting pills in the young sister's drinks and then going down on them, he needs to go to jail for that. And
Yeah.
I just want my sisters, we all come back together, and and just you know, which I doubt if that ever can be, but I would like that all. I know it won't be the same, but we started this church with our mama. We built it by hand, over there Indiana Avenue. And I would like for my mother's name to be revealed. I mean, be revenge.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what I want. I I know it would never get back to that, but Mama was a beautiful person, and I miss her dearly.
Hmm.
And
Ernie, you told me in private conversations that you suspected was Robert who took a mama's life. Why won't Rosie take that uh autopsy report and do something with it? Why?
because
It was her mother.
Rosie was paid off, it all
Mm.
stopped. You can tell that when she was hollering about she's the general or whatever. I hate to see her on the battlefield, but she was the general, and she's still a general now. She didn't flipped out pretty much so because she gave everything power of attorney to her son, Adrian Jefferson, known as Flex. She gave all that to him, and he he went down and to my understanding, I believe it was $2 million a settlement or something like that. So he was, was building his own home and everything like that. Then got into it with his mom because she said he stole $10,000 from her and she was taking him to court, which that was a bunch of dog mess.
Do you think that I keep calling him David Kasari, it says Mark. Do you think Mark ever loved Rosie?
Well, I can't say if he loved her or what. I can't say that, but he don't act like it. He didn't act like it because
Mm.
they caught him over at the St. Joseph's uh, 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 hospital over here. A couple of brothers there, they followed him, and they followed him over there because he was going with this girl at St. Joseph Hospital. Look, look at little young lady, and he didn't realize they had him on camera. And so he out there raindropping with his pants down doing the do.
Wait, what?
And
What? Excuse me. What does that mean, Ernie?
well, doing the nasty.
With someone else
I
other
put
than
it like,
Rosie? Oh
yeah,
my
and they caught
gosh.
him on film, and they fired the girl.
Oh my gosh.
But my friend was talking about it last night, And she said, "Yeah, that's what you ought to mention that about him, getting caught, and he was fasting." And so what? One of the brothers was there named Philip, and he was he was cooking at, and so Mark come in there because he got caught. So he got caught, and so he called a fast and a shut in with the brothers. So this other brother got mad. Hey, man, I'm not going in no fast and no shut in, no shut in or nothing with him. Because he didn't sin and got caught. He want us all to pray and everything going fast and stuff. Mark is bro.
He want everybody to repent for his sins.
Right. And he said, I'm not doing that.
um, it's so much that happened. Last night had to be the worst when we were talking to these people,
Mhm.
because they were fearful. But do you
Yes,
think
ma'am.
if people came forward now, and I could tell their story, you could tell their story, but it's got to come from them.
No.
Yes,
Do you
ma'am.
think
I
they should
believe it.
still be
That
scared, Ernie?
they are scared to death still. Is that
Should
the
they
question?
be?
I don't know.
My question is,
Should they be scared?
should they be scared?
Oh no. Uh, they shouldn't be scared for the simple reason. Yeah, all they do is just tell somebody, then people be aware of what's going on. You keep it in, and nobody knows what's going on with them. So I told this person that I said, "Well, you don't have to be scared. They scared to death."
Mhm.
Yeah,
Everybody, everybody I talked to, more than 9 people now, were more than happy and willing to talk. They
mm-hmm.
never, nobody wanted their names mentioned, with the exception of your nephew Dan. Everybody else wanted to remain silent. It's never, they're
Yeah,
going to
they
get
did.
away literally with murder if people don't come forward.
That's true. That's
They're
true.
petrified.
But
They're
Mm-hmm.
petrified.
what I decided
They
to do
are.
is to make this video. So if anybody decides to investigate, or they ever need it in court one day, here's what happened. This is what happened. Take it from here. And
And
if
another thing.
anybody from the media or another blogs, if they want to come to me and talk about my sources and stuff like that, come on. I have nothing to hide. Just, I just want the actual victims to come forward. It's so important. Viva, what do you think would happen if these victims spoke for themselves?
I think I understand their fear. I totally do. Because if I grew up in that situation and if it was me, yeah, I would be fearful also. Especially if you heard stories or direct stories yourself or something has happened to you, you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
fearful. But what they got to understand is that now it's being exposed. It's the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
exposure. And things happen in groups, okay? When two or three come together, something greater can happen. So what they got to understand is they should come forth, band together, speak their
Right.
truth, show their
Mm-hmm.
evidence so a change can happen. This needs to be exposed. It needs to come out. Something different needs to
It
be
does.
happen. And like Uncle Ernie is saying, it will vindicate Mama's name. It will,
Amen. I
they
agree.
destroyed her name with all of this foolery, and now everything she built up from scratch. And like you said, Uncle Ernie, they gave her the keys to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that is being diminished because now it's seeming like it was a whole lot of foolery going on. And although that foolery didn't happen under Mama, because it's happening now, it's connected to her legacy. It's connected to her
Mm-hmm.
name. So I understand what you're saying when you're saying you just want to clear Mama's name. So
That's it.
you got to talk to the people and tell the people, look, I understand you're fearful, but you got a lot of people behind you.
That's
Sherelle is
right.
here. Sherelle is
Mm-hmm.
here, and it's going to speak volumes. If one by one they come and speak their truth and release it
Mm-hmm.
off their heart, change will happen.
It
And a
does.
lot
Um,
of things have happened to them.
Ernie, somebody in the audience wants to know whatever happened to Dana.
Dana's got he's married and got beautiful kids and everything he went on and with his life, and got a lot of respect for that, but him to move
Um,
on.
can you will you mind answering a couple questions from the audience?
I don't mind.
Okay, let's start with. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Uncle Ernie. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing fine, man.
I want to ask you, was Rosalind really telling the truth, or that's all there was a bunch of lies?
It was so much lying in there. I almost forgot. So much lying. There's one lie that she blamed on my mother. She said, "Mama left the church in her hand," which that's not true. She was just a choir director and a bad one at that.
Yeah, she.
Wow. I mean, ooh, child. I promise you, sure, girl, I just don't know. I think everybody should go to jail. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Everybody should go to jail. That's
yeah.
how I feel. I don't know because I'm busy. Because I think after school with you the other day, I did the video on my own channel, and I was like, oh, what? I mean, like people leaving the church because I heard about people leaving church, but I'm just like, my heart do go out for you because I promise you, my mama and my grandma both is gone, and I promise you, the way my family is, child, please, it would be, it will be fighting. We'll be
I
fighting.
hear a lot of
You know what I'm saying? So my heart, and like I said, I don't know who to believe, and I'm trying to put my trust. And Charlotte, like I said on my channel, I believe you. I know these people have came to you, and I know you have this investigation in the past, baby doll, and they have been on point. But I'm busy trying. I really do want to believe some kind of way these people got away with this stuff.
They got away with it.
Just got
Anyway,
away and bruising mama and just I'm that would make me mad because man, you don't take nobody, not mama, not grandmama, and you just do her wrong like that.
yeah.
But
thank
I
you,
wish you
Lisa.
well, Uncle Ern. Okay, I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
Thank.
I wouldn't have signed that waiver for Bravo because like Dan had said the other day, you don't know what they gonna do with it.
Nah, you did the right thing, Uncle Ernie, because you spoke your truth and you
Yeah, he
said it
did
on
spoke his
TV.
truth, but Dan said the other day though. He said you don't know what they're gonna do with it though.
Well,
Uh,
whatever they do, I get whatever they do with it. I hope they pay me for it.
I'm going get your coins, baby. Get your coins, Uncle. I love it.
Yeah,
All
Uncle said
right.
he
but
won't get paid.
Thank you, Lisa. We got a long line. I'm trying to
I
take
love
some
you,
calls.
Bob.
Take
Hi,
care.
Diva. Uncle
all
Ernie,
right,
tell everybody I'll be praying for him, honey. Bye
Yeah.
all
bye.
right. God bless. Peace.
Let's take another one. Canelo, do you have a couple, one or two questions for
I just
Uncle
got one
Ernie?
for Uncle Ernie. How you doing, my friend? And
All
I
right,
am
young man. How
happy
you
for
doing?
your thank you for your bravery in coming out against this lady. I know this is
Yes,
your
sir.
niece. I really don't like her. But what
Ooh,
I want
really?
to say no, the way she's doing these people is atrocious. And what I want to
Yeah.
know is, do you it came out that she's not returning next season. Is I know you probably really can't talk about it, but do you think if she comes back, would more stuff be exposed?
Oh, yes. Whole lot of stuff. I don't know too much about what happened over there after I left out of there. I've been gone 20 years. They don't allow me on the property
Right.
anyway. Not like that. They call the police every time I come around. So I know what's going on more so with that Rosalind. You mean,
And
because uh, my
I haven't
mother
checked that
told
video
me,
out yet.
my
Because
mother told me, go ahead, sir.
no, I was going to say because I have a friend that knew your mother, and she was telling
Hmm.
me some great things about her. And she said the only thing that she have never done was has gone to the Salt Lake City church, but she always went to the one that was in Indiana. And she
And in
said
that, in
she
that,
always told me some great things about your mother. And she
yes,
said, the things that Mary and Bishop are doing, mother would never went for that. Mama would have never went for
oh
that.
no, I mean, they wouldn't have never came out. See, it would never happen. So you wouldn't even think about nothing like this. But before Mama left, she had a Bible class, And the name of that Bible class was Wiles of the Devil. And she taught that, and what she taught is all came to pass. She said something's going to hit this church, y'all, and you better get hold to a plank because it's going to hit it hard. And yeah, I said, she said that. Yeah, I didn't think nothing of it. I wish I had really got just
And
a
look what
little bit
happened.
more.
Look what happened. It really
Mm-hmm.
that came to pass because the church
It
is
did.
gone. They're running scared and they're trying to, silence people as quick as possible. But I thank you for your bravery and please continue because these people need to be freed and they need to be in jail. That's
Thank,
all I
Yes,
have to
sir.
say.
Appreciate that.
thank you, Keneela. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you calling in.
And I need to talk to you
It's,
afterwards,
it's,
Sherelle.
yeah, I'll drop you. Hold on. Okay, let's take another one. Hi, Freddie. Do you
Hello.
have a question for Uncle Ernie?
Oh, yes. Hi, Uncle Ernie. My question was, obviously there's been a lot of rumors about Mary and Bishop getting divorced and things, a lot of like bankruptcy and things like that. What if, I know you're obviously estranged from them, but what else have you sort of heard regarding those rumors?
Well, that's what Mary was talking about, selling the church and all that stuff. That's how it got out, and when she removed that sign and stuff like that, she's getting the place all fixed up where she, you know, can sell it or whatever.
And Uncle Ernie, that church is in probate. Can she sell the church?
No, she can't sell the church or nothing like that.
Yeah, that's what I understood as well. But in terms of the things, like apparently she's using like properties and things, so she's basically funding her life through remortgaging basically everything she
Yeah,
owns.
she's stupid, but what she did with that house down there in Las Vegas, she goes and get a second mortgage off the house. And that shows you that they really miss Lois Johnson.
Uh, thank
Yeah.
you, Freddie. We got a long line. I'm trying to take a lot of calls. Thank you for calling in.
Bye.
Take care. Hi, Michaela. Can you hear us?
Hey, hey, bud.
And
Hi.
how you doing, Michael? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I
Great.
just want to first tell you that I am so proud of your courage.
Yes, ma'am.
I am, you know how much I loved Mama and how much so many people
Yes, I
loved
did.
Mama. And I think it's
Hmm.
so important for you to continue to be steadfast and unmovable.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
it is your I'm getting emotional, but I want you to know I'm trying to relay this as best I can. I know the legacy, I know the sacrifice, I know the love, and I know how much it was important for Mama to create an environment of family.
Yes, ma'am.
That's changed, unfortunately. However, what hasn't changed is your heart. What
Yes,
hasn't
ma'am. That's
changed
true.
is what you have been raised to know and to be. And so now at this time, this is where you, as a matriarch of this family, have to continue to stand in your truth, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what may come your way. You know that the
Yes, ma'am.
God you serve will be able to protect you. You know what the Bible stands for, and you know what this legacy means to you personally. I encourage
Yes,
you that
ma'am.
although you are estranged from Debbie and from Rosie, that you continue to pray for them
I do.
because although there's some devious things that have been gone on and people have to be held accountable, I also believe
True.
that the devil is absolutely busy. And we have to be
Amen.
able to separate reality from God. There are
I'm
some
True.
things
gonna
that you just cannot say that the Bible, I think what's happening is that they're using the word, like I said in a previous broadcast, as a weapon of destruction rather than
Mm-hmm.
of it building up people and encouraging people and teaching people how to come together. At the end of the day, God teaches us to respect and to love one another. And if we are not doing that, then we are not living at the truth of the Bible, regardless of what religion it is. So
Amen.
please know that I love you and that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of Danny. I'm proud of everyone that is making a stand. And I know that there are a lot of things that have been said about the church in general. Separate
Mm-hmm.
those great memories from the things that Mary is doing, because at the end of the day, Mama still created a legacy that was beautiful. There were
Yes,
some
she did.
great things that came out of that church, and there were a lot of great people. And those people aren't necessarily bad. Their ways are evil. Their actions are deceptive, but there's still some good people that are very scared, that have been led astray, that have been treated wrong, that have been persecuted. And we just can't do that. So this platform that Sherelle has created, I
Beautiful.
think, has taken off in a way that I don't think she probably knew it would. But look at the good that has come out of this in such a short amount of time. The fight that you guys have been fighting behind the scenes for years, look how quick things are moving now with
Yes,
this new
ma'am.
platform of social media. Who knew? Who knew?
That's true.
So
That's true.
I just wanted
Michaela,
to show my face, and just for a brief moment.
I wanted to respond to you. I am so thankful that you're thanking Ernie, because people don't understand. It was him first. And people said he was lying and he was jealous, and he just wanted to do this for money. You don't know what Ernie's been through. It wasn't until Dan came forward that people started changing it around. Ernie's been crawling through broken glass to get his story
Not
heard.
about money.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Michaela, for calling in. I appreciate your call.
Yes, thank you,
Michaela,
Michael.
Michaela, I have something to say.
Great.
I sure appreciate you coming out. I appreciate the nice things that you said about my mother, and I love you for that.
Oh,
Work that you're doing.
she's fading in and out.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Michaela. You're fading in and out. Me and Diva have been through this journey with you.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't know. People just don't.
You know what? You're the trailblazer, Uncle Ernie. That's what you
Yes,
are.
ma'am.
You're a trailblazer because, like Michael has said, like Sherelle said, you started it all. And Sherelle, she was right. Because of you, something that was taking them years to get off the ground has taken off in a big way. So the small battles matter, Uncle Ernie. And
Yes,
right
ma'am.
now, this is a small battle, but the small battles wins the war. And so
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
end, y'all will come out on top. You will restore Mama's memory and legacy back to where it was. You
Yes,
are a
ma'am.
trailblazer,
Believe it.
and God
Yes,
bless
ma'am.
you.
And
Thank you.
Ernie, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to let you go. Is that you have become my friend.
That's it.
These people are crazy that don't believe this story, and I'm sorry what you've been through, but look what we're facing now. Now people believe us. It's been a
Yes,
long time coming.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I love you, Ernie.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this again. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And
God
and
bless.
uh
Ernie.
and I appreciate you too, and what you stand for. And I love you for that. And I want God bless you real good. And I will pray for you.
I got the best gift out of this, and that's your friendship.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. I'm gonna call
Thank
you
you,
when this
Uncle
is done.
Ernie.
I love you. Take care.
I
Yeah.
love you too, ma'am. Peace.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye.
People don't know what this man has been through. People
Mm.
have been calling him a liar to his face. Mary has been getting away, and literally, Bishop, with murder.
Yeah.
What is wrong with people? I can't.
Mm.
But they believe us now, so that's good. And then he got to tell his story on the show. God have mercy on you, Mary, Bishop,
Yeah.
Rosalind, and Mark.
Mm.
And I kept saying his name for David. It's Mark, but let me take a couple more calls and then I got to wrap this up. Hi, Curves.
Hey, Curves.
He was so sweet. I appreciate him sharing his truth. You know what I'm saying? And he's been going after this. That was one of my questions, was how long has he been going after this? Was it before or after she got on TV? And from what you're saying, it was before.
20 years
Like
before.
far. Yeah. So then my second question is, why is it taking so long? Like, why hasn't the law done
Because
more?
they have paid off officials. They have kept it tied up. No case is supposed to be tied up in court for 20 years. But
It's
now,
corruption.
through the grace of God, they're running out of money and they had to drop their attorney.
Oh, is that what's happening now?
Yeah.
So he refuted everything that Roz and Mark said. I came in late. I had to finish up homeschooling and everything. So he refuted every single thing.
Rosalind is worse than Mary because at the end of the day, that's her mother. And you know what happened to your mother. You have the evidence. You have the coroner's report that you refused to turn in. That's your mother.
So, and somebody in the comments said that her body was exhumed.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? When was that? Today, yesterday, before, after the church closed?
No, this was in the beginning when at first Rosalind was on the right side of history and she wanted to expose the bishop and Mary, but then they allegedly paid her off and she took the money and ran.
And now, even after supposedly not speaking to Mary for 25 years, just did an expose all in her favor.
She, after not talking to her for 25 years and running out of money, living with her son now, now she wants to do an about face and say how wonderful Mary is. This has been a long time coming. The reason I'm so emotional.
I see. My heart to you, girl.
Well, because I know what he's going through. And Diva has heard these people speak.
Yeah.
And heard these people speak. And then people will come on here and say that they're lying or you guys don't know what you're talking about. What?
Well, I feel
crazy.
like they're not necessarily lying. I just feel like there's all the truth. You know, there's enough room on right for everybody a lot. Like, because everybody's perception is valid in their mind, you know, and his is so valid. He took it to court. And unfortunately, something's happening that it's taken 20 years.
It
And
should get looked
it
at
shouldn't
now.
be. And that's crazy that they have enough money to keep it going. Like they
not
had
anymore. And so good. Not anymore.
So that's why they were taking out those second mortgages, maybe
Just
was to keep the payoffs going, maybe allegedly. Oh my goodness.
And Kurt, you know what? Wouldn't you think if you had the opportunity, if someone was saying that you did something you didn't do and you got a large platform, wouldn't you show up and use that platform to speak your truth and speak your innocence?
If you're speaking specifically about Mary going to the reunion, I'm glad she didn't show up. I'm glad that she refused to be their freaking melanated whipping post. They would have talked to her about all this off-camera stuff. And because they filmed it with 6 episodes left, we wouldn't even got to Jenny Wynn. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad. Because if we're
Jenny Wynn, let's talk about that really quickly. How they wanted to fire Jen Shah for breaking an order and speaking up about racism, but they realized that the public wasn't going for that.
Wasn't going to have it.
We really weren't.
And rightfully so.
Rightfully. There's Teresa Giudice that they sat through court with her.
Stood by her
criminal acts. When she came out, they gave her $1 million. There's Erica Girardi, who is just telling nothing but lies. They gave her a chance to clear her name. But now Jen Shah has to go. That would have been foul, foul, foul.
Very foul.
I'll have to talk about that another day because I have a statement to read if I choose to do so. Let me take a couple more questions and we got to go. Hi, Sin. Hi, Taryn. How are you?
Hi.
Hey y'all,
Hey.
I'm always laying down when y'all get me on camera. Um, I my heart goes out to Ernie. It really, really does, because you know he has so much courage to come out and to one say what his niece did, his so-called stepfather, his sisters, and I don't know how many siblings he has. He has to deal with them. But Mary is backed up against the wall, and she can't deal with it. She can't
You
take
know,
pressure.
all of this, you got her quitting the show so she doesn't have to answer any questions. You've
Right,
got her family saying, you got Dan and Ernie saying their truth. You got the victims telling us that their truth. What all of that, some
right.
people still say Mary's innocent. I just got off the phone with a person saying Mary's innocent. And Robert was the last person. Listen, if I'm with my wife, that's his wife, and she
Right.
passes out, the first thing you do is call
Call
911
911.
or the hospital.
Exactly. He
Mama's
must have had a
body
taste of
never got
Mary, and that's
examined
why he didn't do it.
she never got examined by a doctor. They had to exhume her body, and they still found evidence of an overdose.
Mm.
But the medicine they found, they said the coroner's report was in her bloodstream, not her stomach.
Oh my
All right.
goodness.
Taryn, what did you want to ask really quickly?
I wanted to ask Uncle Ernie. Hi, I'm so happy to be here. From the
Hi.
Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to ask Uncle Ernie. Do you think that did he think that Mary was probably groomed by Bishop?
I don't.
Um,
I know how. Taryn, how do you get groomed at 22?
I mean,
Mary saw them dollar
grooming could
signs.
start. I believe that grooming could start at any age, especially when it's a cult.
Well, let me
Um,
ask you this, Taryn. When you were in your 20s, or if you're 20s now, I don't know how old you are, and your grandfather came on to you, would it be a
oh,
natural reaction to F him?
I will be disgusted. I'll be
So
disgusted.
my
But I just had to ask that question because I saw a lot of people was asking that question, and it's only recently I looked at the interview with Rosie and Mark, and at first I felt some sort of sympathy with her because it was her daughter, and then listening to Uncle Ernie just now, I realized, wow, these people are really sick.
every ex cult member and cult members that we spoke to says that Rosie is 10 times worse than um, Mary, and people are calling them narcissists. And that's a
Wow,
person that puts themselves before anybody
Anybody.
else.
wow,
All
it's
right.
really
Thank you
sickening.
guys for calling in. I appreciate the
Thank
call. Take
you.
care. Thank you, Sin. Take
You're
care.
welcome.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Whew,
It's heavy.
it's heavy,
It's a
but
lot.
I'm gonna let this lie for a while. But I really had to come back, and I wanted to share the thing how Robert was the last person with her. The church right away suspected it was him. Rosie suspected it was him. They got the body exhumed, and they are two autopsies, and Rosie is still in, has one. She still has one, and won't clear this up.
It's going to get cleared up, Sherelle. Sometimes patience is a virtue. It's going to get cleared up. It's being spoken about. Things are coming to the light. They said everything in the dark will eventually come to the light. And yet, Uncle Ernie is brave. It's going to come out. And eventually, soon enough, as the more the victims watch this show, they're going to get the courage, and that's my prayer, that they get the courage and they to come up and speak their own story, because that's when it's really going to give a lot of volume to it. People think that this is not about sensationalism. This is about us hearing real victim stories, hearing them cry, hearing the fear in their voice, that they're truly scared to come speak for themselves to this day. They're fearing for their actual life
And I
and
just
the
want to tell the
retaliation.
Yeah, I get it. But I just want to tell the victims, the moment you speak publicly about it, that takes away their power. What are
Yep,
they going to do? You come on here, you speak publicly. If anything happened to you, we know what happened.
exactly.
It's a matter of
Exactly.
record. You guys got to come forward, please. We appreciate you talking to us. We appreciate you sharing your stories. Now we need you to share your story.
Yes.
I think I'm done with Mary Cosby for a while, unless she does something crazy like this interview she's got coming up. Don't make me clear anything else up, Mary. Okay, it is what it is. I wanted to thank everyone for your super chats. You don't have to support the channel, and you do, so I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, everyone in the chat that was respectful, and Uncle
Hmm.
Ernie. We've been friends now for 2 years. I have a friendship with him. I know he's not lying. And so
No,
it
he's
feels
not.
good for the truth to start coming out. It really does. Dan, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you
Yeah.
for all the victims that spoke with us. We appreciate it. Rozzy, shame on you. Mark, you're ridiculous. Robert, you pay for your sins, and you pay in this lifetime.
Absolutely.
And Mary, that's your grandmother. You just ruined her legacy. All right, let's say bye on three, Diva. 1, 2, 3. Bye, guys.